Hello and welcome to Prison Architect. This is the latest game by Introversion. It is now available for paid alpha pre-order. You get access to the alpha immediately. You get the game when it's done. That's $30. A lot of people are a little reluctant at that price point, and I understand. I was myself, but this game is good. Played it some, so I know what I'm doing somewhat. Of course, there's a lot of things I don't know. There's a lot of things people just don't in general know. I mean, paying for it, you get access to the dev wiki, but the information there is sparse, and I haven't definitely not explored the entire depth of this game. It's also not easy. Anyways, so this is a brand new prison, small map. You can do small, medium, large. Excuse me. They get pretty big. As you can see, it's paused. This is my truck with my starting workers. They're just like construction dudes. They'll build the things that I tell them to, and some supplies. You can see I have almost $10,000 right now. This is the amount I get per day from the government to run my prison. This is the amount I'm paying per day in salary to those 8 workers. They each get 100. Easy. Okay, now right here you have this big letter, okay, which is basically a quick what do you do guide. When you start the game the first time, you actually do a little tutorial bit, but this will tell you, what you should be thinking about anyways in general. But I already know all this. Feel free to read it, pause the video, whatever. I'm not going to. I'm just going to delete it because I know what's happening. Now, in 23 hours, we're going to get our first 8 prisoners, and as far as I know, you get 8 prisoners each day. Now, I've heard reports from some friends that they've gotten like 6 later, or, certain different amounts. And one game, I could swear it said 16 were going to arrive, but then 16 didn't arrive, so I don't know. Again, the game is definitely an alpha. There are a lot of bugs, and you will experience them. Hopefully we won't in this video, because that would really suck. First thing I'm going to do is go into my report screen and go to the grants. Basically, I'm going to need a lot of money. This is not enough money. So we're just going to take all these contracts, these grants. Alright, these two actually pay even more money upon completion, so they're good. But the others just give you straight money. And now we've got a ton of money to play with. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to expand my delivery zone, so I don't have a bunch of trucks piled up. Side note, if you are going to play the game, do not let this go to the edge of the map, or you will not be able to recover things. Trucks will get stuck on the edge, and bad things will happen. Now, one of the weird quirks about it is when things are paused, they don't really go in the build view, so things get a little funky. So I'm going to unpause it to show you. See, now it's going to fill that space in. It's not a huge deal. That was actually kind of a weird... It's a little big, but whatever. I don't think I'm going to build my prison right next to the road. Doesn't really matter that much. What I am going to do is I'm going to... One of the issues is you have to think about the size of the various rooms that are going to go in your prison. This would be like an interior section that I'm be adding into it right now. And I know the general shape I want, but I never quite get the size down. I can always move that. Alright, I'm thinking I'm gonna do... I don't know if I want 16 by 50. That seems a little giant. I think I'm gonna do 16 by 40. Alright, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do 18 by 48, and yeah, that's a weird number, but I think it'll work out right. And I'm gonna create some other segments. Oops. Alright. 15, 16. I don't think that's actually... Oh, God. Okay, I think I'm doing wrong here, but whatever, we'll see. 16 by 16. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Usually I do odd numbers, but that leads to complications. But you'll see. That's going to be 18 by 48. Alright. It's really going to be a really big just chunk of indoor stuff. I'm gonna have them dismantle the trees, because I don't need those inside of my building. And I'm gonna go ahead and straight away put grass in this section and designate it as a yard, the prison yard. And that'll start to fill in, and now that section is like that. Okay, so here's one of the quirks you can see right away, is even though this is going to be all, it won't matter. Even though this is going to be one big interior space with these walls, there's not going to be the division. You need a door for each section I just placed. But, I mean, this is no big deal. We're just going to have one door into each section, into the yard. And one door leading outside with sort of airlock-ish thing going on out here. I'll see that in a minute. Now I'm going to set up my utilities outside. I always do this just outside the prison. You know, that way no inmate can ever get to them, fuck them up or anything like that. And I'm just going to do this. I already know how that's going to connect. And these three. The game does perform kind of weird when you're first setting up large areas. So it might, yeah, it just froze up on me a little bit there. It's no big deal though. And 3 capacitors. So my power doesn't get overloaded. My main water. And I'm just going to put this around the whole thing. Large pipes don't lose pressure over distance. The small pipes do. So you gotta be careful what you do. I could say right here I'm throwing away a little bit of money. I could probably just run like a central line down, but the thing is you can't put large pipes into walls. But if you have a large pipe down already, you can put walls over them. So it's kind of a, you know, not the best situation, but whatever. It works. It'll be fine. And I'm just going to let the game run. It's going to run at a kind of a poopy frame rate until these buildings get done finished. It's not the recording, it's just the game. And we're also gonna, well, we'll wait for them to lay down the pipes. This process is going to take a little while. Hopefully I didn't make it too big, so I'll actually have stuff up before the prisoners show up, because that would be bad. I'm going to fast forward time a little bit. That actually made it do worse. Huh. There we go. 7 frames per second. I can't make that any better though. It's not me, that's just the game. You can see all this crap. That's just waiting to be used for the construction. That's why I made that zone bigger. Oh, and I'm gonna hire more of these guys so I can get this done quicker. 10's good. Sometimes I hire more, but in this case I'm just gonna hold off. I'm also gonna go ahead and set them up to build this exit fence. This is the one way into the prison, the one way out, so you want a few layers of security. I've never had someone escape my prisons, but some of the people I know have, and you know, they suggested that I do that to prevent that from happening, even though it never happened in any of my cases, so who knows. And this is probably one of the most boring parts at all, getting things set up of the game, but it's a great game. It really is. It's a lot of fun to play, and I can't wait until there's way more depth to it and just more going on, and also for it to be a little bit better performing, because it does have quite a few bugs. Even though it doesn't matter since you won't have an office, I'm going to go ahead and hire my warden, who you have to get any other administrative personnel. And that will let me set up my regimen for the prisoners. Now, an interesting thing to note is, over my combined experience with the game, I've noticed that if you give them free time, it means they will satisfy their needs whenever they feel like it, as opposed to prescribing the schedule that they get, so they get upset when they can't do what they need to do when they need to do it. So if someone's hungry, they can't go to the mess and get any food because they're not allowed. And I'm going to set up 3 meal times. That's going to be an hour block. Now, outside of eating, you don't need to schedule anything. And you only have to schedule eating because if you don't schedule eating, your cooks won't make any food. And that's a problem because prisoners don't like it if you don't feed them. So that's set up. Our first little area is done, but it's really not going to do much for us yet. I need to get the whole thing up. Although once this bit gets up, I can start setting up the wiring a little bit. He's placing down the first capacitors. I probably didn't need to go for that extra one. That was a waste of $1,000. I'm probably going to run out of money fairly quickly, but we'll see what I can do. The biggest issue in this game is running out of money, because you have a never-ending stream of prisoners, but your funding doesn't increase all that much. So, yeah, I don't need that extra capacitor, honestly, probably, but it's too late now. You can't sell anything back, so any excess material just remains on site until you need it. So if I mandate the construction of a wall, then I cancel that construction before it's done. That material is still stored on site, so I won't pay for it again if I need to build a different wall, but I can never get rid of that material. Well, that's not true. You can dump it, but you're not going to get paid for it. So once a day, someone takes the garbage away too. I've never like ran out of, well, had too much garbage, I should say. But I suppose it's possible. We're nearly complete with this bottom segment. Yeah, I think I might have gone a little too big. So I'm gonna have to do a bit of a rush to get the first proper cells up. Alright. Utilities. See, I got water flowing. I'm gonna pause it. Building while paused is kind of finicky. I think I said that already, but you'll see as this video goes on. Also, clicking on things, I haven't figured out like a key to get out of that menu, and if you click wrong, you'll move things. It's bad, so you don't want to do that. And I'm just gonna go around the outside here. And usually when I do this, I don't need to go down the middle inside, but this is a lot bigger than usual, so I might have to, which would be really unfortunate, but oh well. It doesn't cost that much to lay, but I'm already thinking about how I'm going to be running low on money, which is unfortunate. I did learn something from my last prison, though, that should help me save some money in the long run. But so far I have not taken certain lessons that I should have from the last game I played. But it's a learning process. As far as I know, you can get a staff member that's supposed to help you get more access to federal grants and stuff, but I don't think there are any additional federal grants in the game right now. So that staff member is kind of useless, although, well, I suppose I don't actually need to even hire them because that's not one that pays upon completion, but that's what this job asks you to do. But I think you do get a little bit of extra funding for having her, just passively, but I could be making that up. I don't know. I'm gonna probably include her anyways, because I'm a big dumb dummy. Alright, so I like to wait until the lights get on, but I don't know if I should, since I've got 10 hours until those prisoners arrive. I should probably start building the cells. Regardless. So yeah, I'm gonna start setting those up. Anyways, God, I might have. Yeah, I think I made a mistake. I think I made things way too big. I mean, it's not like it's an unrecoverable mistake or anything, or even a real one, honestly. It's just the way I'm gonna have to plan this out is gonna be a little different. Yeah, alright. 2x3 is the minimum cell size. And I'm gonna sneeze here in a minute. Nope. Maybe. We'll see. You'll find out. Alright, there's some power. And I think that might actually... Yeah, that's just gonna cover it, I think, interior and exterior. That's about the maximum you can go to. Alright, shit, we got 8 hours until these guys show up. I gotta stop gawking and start building. Alright. Getting started is always the hardest part, I find, because I don't know how the spacing's gonna work out between these cells. Any like room next to each other, adjacent, you don't have to overlap it. It'll just automatically become the same room. So that's a neat feature, I guess. Here's what I'm gonna do: is this corner I'm gonna make a holding cell, and that's what I mean by building pause is kind of fucked up. 5x5 is the minimum holding cell size. And on the other corner, I'm gonna make it solitary confinement cell, just because you have to consider the way the hallway is going to work with the corner there. I don't actually know if there isn't a minimum size for solitary confinement. That's interesting to know. Probably going to make this one this big. And I'm going to divide these brick wall. I know how I'm going to do this part, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I kind of definitely wing my cell design. Like, I have the general idea how I want things to look in the prison, but overall, it's kind of just... I'm just digging around, doing what I'm doing, and I guess I can afford to make this bigger since there's this gap here. Ultimately, it's kind of wasted space, but whatever. We're definitely going to lose this one. I can tell that much right now. But I don't think... I guess if you're really smart about it, you could probably keep a prison going for at least the maximum amount of space that you have, but as it is, I don't think there is a way to quote-unquote win the game, because so far as I can tell, at least, there's only one ending, which is you run out of space or you run out of money, because that's, well, you can only get so much space and money. And I'm playing on the smallest map size, so if that's your biggest concern, you can go on for quite a long time if you play on the largest map size, because it's pretty big. It doesn't perform as good, though. So, you know, your mileage may vary. Get these cells up real quick. Each cell need a door. Solitary confinement gets its own special door. And solitary confinement doesn't actually need a bed or a toilet, but I throw one in anyways. And each cell needs a bed and a toilet. That's a must. And the holding cell needs a bench, because it can hold up to 5 dudes, and a toilet. Ultimately, you don't want anyone permanently staying in your holding cell. This is just temporary, worst case scenario, someone's got to be in here for a little while. Basically, this is your overflow, but you honestly don't want to have it, because they're not going to be happy prisoners without a bed or a toilet. And it's only one prisoner per cell as far as I know. Outside of a holding cell. And I don't know what happens really if you put beds in a holding cell, but I've heard things to the effect that it's bad, so I don't know. Anyways, that'll go up. Let me set up the piping for the toilets though while I'm here. Small pipes lead to toilets and such, and I need to also make a shower and the mess, and ugh. I'd pause it, but since they're still working on stuff, it doesn't matter, you know? And building while not paused is easier, because things update and display properly. And now I'm thinking about the space I have here, and I know I want to put my kitchen and canteen is probably gonna go here. Actually, that's a I hadn't thought about doing this, but I think I'm gonna do it like this. My kitchen is gonna be thinking about spacing for cells. That's a 2 hallway. So we get 2x3 cell. That'd be perfect. That's actually the proper distance that I'd want for that. And then the canteen is going to be this whole area. Boom. What is this? Actually, with that exterior wall, I don't know if that calculation holds up. But either way, I can do it that way, so that spacing's fine. We're going to do like this. Line that up. You can place the door after the wall's there, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So I should probably move that back one. Yeah. Although I do want my kitchen to be sizable because I want to fit multiple cooking units inside of my kitchen. But that's fine. The counter actually goes into the canteen side, not the kitchen. And for the canteen, I also kind of wanted my canteen a bit bigger. Whatever. I guess I'm not taking hard those lessons from the last game. Fuck those lessons. Lessons are for the weak. I guess I could do it this way. Table, bench, table, bench. That'll be more seating than my last one. A little bit more, not much, honestly. Ugh. Alright. Well, you know, if we're fucking it up, we might as well fuck it up all the way. Objects. I'm gonna close that wall segment. And it's to turn it into a door. This is just a regular old door. As you can see, objects. A kitchen requires 2 things, an oven and a fridge, but I think I'm gonna want 2 of each and then a sink. I'm not sure if I really need 2 fridges, but I definitely want 2 ovens. So that's in. You're still piping in power. Well, yeah, we're still getting it together. I got 4 hours to go. I think I'm gonna make it for that. Oh, let me set up the shower too. Almost forgot. I think I'm gonna set up the shower just right outside the holding cell here. That doesn't need to be that big, honestly. Although, yeah, I'll do this. Also, I'm gonna set up the admin's office, the warden's office. While I'm thinking about it, I always put it down here, so where the offices go, until I start adding a ton of more cells, and then it doesn't line up, and then I figure something else out. Or fuck it up in the last prison. Again, adding things, extensions to the interior building after the fact are really finicky, and yeah, you'll see if we get that far. I made a lot of interior space, so I probably won't actually need to do that in this video. So good on money. Oh, good-ish. Yeah, actually, if I'm thinking about it, we're fucked already. God, yeah, we are. Jesus. You'll see. Go ahead and hire 2 cooks. I'm gonna hire, and a guard. That'll bring me up to my daily limit for today. It should go up after I get these prisoners, but alright. And our shower can be yay big. And door. Use the jail door just in case we gotta lock down that shower. You never know. Into this end, I'm actually gonna install this pipe going down to the kitchen because I'm gonna need it there when I put that sink in. And also into here because I'm gonna have shower heads and whatnot. I already know about that too, so you know, it helps when you know more things about the game, for sure. Just what you're doing and whatnot. And I'm also going to install drains everywhere. I'm actually curious about the drain behavior. I've seen some weird things with drains and water, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. And I'm going to put, I probably shouldn't be wasting money on it, honestly, never mind, I'm not going to do that. Prisoners in 2 hours. The cells are ready, so that'll be fine. The canteen's not quite ready, but it's getting there. It's close. They'll be alright. Alright, I should probably put the furniture that he's going to need in his office. Offices require a desk, a chair, and a filing cabinet. Even though he's got... oh no, I guess it's a clipboard. For some reason I always thought that was like a PDA. That was kind of dumb of me. And I'm going to make a common room too. Somewhere for the prisoners to be entertained at. Why am I paying $1,500 for... oh, because, right, it costs $200 per day. That makes sense. Okay. They can actually start cooking now, because they've got one oven up and one fridge up, so that's good. Right. If I get some more cells up, I get 10k, so that's good. I'm gonna need that, honestly. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I really squandered some money here. Big time, which is super unfortunate, but whatever. You know. You live and you learn. Common room. It's gonna be a bitch for me to suss out the size here I'm gonna want, because if I'm gonna have a 2 hallway, that would be from here to here. I think that's good. Oh well, we'll find out eventually. Right. Worst case scenario, my hallway's just not as big as I like it, which is one nice thing. That it'll still work out ultimately, because I like to have 2 hallways everywhere. But if I did the spacing wrong, if I put additional cells in the middle, I'll only have 1 space for 1 hallway. But either way, it honestly doesn't matter that much. So, you know. I usually put TVs in these things, but they don't seem to actually entertain the prisoners, so I'm just going to use 2 pool tables and see what happens. And in the yard, I'm going to put some weight benches, because prisoners need to exercise. It's one of their 4 needs. Give that many. God, that's overkill. Whatever. I run a pretty nice prison. I mean, if I had to go to prison, I'd want to go to one of my prisons. I don't know why that didn't link up. That's weird. Also, my prisoners are here, and they're slowly being escorted in by my 1 guard. I'm gonna hire another one to make that go a little bit quicker. And that also cleared my basic detention center task, even though I didn't get a bonus for completing that one. There are little graphical hitches. Sometimes you'll see lines. It's the scaling. I don't know. Presumably that won't be here in the final game. Also, pretty soon these floors are going to start getting all gross and cracking. And that's because I don't have any janitor to repair that. Because to get a janitor, you have to get a maintenance foreman, and then you have to research him, and it takes a while, and it costs a lot of money. Also, the walls start cracking too, which I don't know how to repair those at all. The janitor doesn't seem to do it. Just gonna escort him into his first cell. And the prisoners are polite. They just wait in the delivery area for a while. And I know if you give them long enough, they will just leave. But they spend a good long time just hanging out. Free, basically. So they're good dudes. But I mean, you know. It's not like this is a maximum security facility. I don't know why